Welcome to the Pastie Tapes, a burlesque podcast by Show My More. Thank you so much for tuning into the Pastie Tapes. I am your host, Show My More, the steamiest Asian dumpling, recording today from Las Vegas. I am currently in my hotel room at BHoF. So the AC might kick on in the background because I don't know how to turn that off, but we are here, we are doing it. We're in Las Vegas. It is happening. Today is Thursday. I'm so excited. So this is one of our pre-BHoF episodes where I chat with competitors, performers, and attendees ahead of the Burlesque Hall of Fame Weekender, which takes place June 6th through June 9th in Las Vegas at the Orleans Hotel. Today we will hear from a competitor, a BHoF host with a first BHoF experience story, and an alternate for the Movers, Shakers, and Innovators showcase. Today my guest is Kitson Sass. We first met in April in a stellar show called Royal Tease, produced by Mercury Stardust in Madison, Wisconsin. This show had stars like Kitson Sass, 2019 BHoF Queen competitor Foxy Tan, 2017 competitor Mercury Stardust, 2016 Mover, Shaker, and Innovator Camille Leone, 2013 King of Burlesque Ray Gunn, myself, and some other local performers. In Madison, I had a chance to hang out with Kitson, and we bonded over my first experience at the Show Me Burlesque Festival. We will talk about competition, BHoF prep, and her partnership with Pistol Prudence. Stay tuned for a later episode with Kitson, where we talk about her burlesque origin story. Okay, let's talk about BHoF. How do you feel?
I've been going through a roller coaster of emotions, but I feel really good right now. Like, besides nerves, which are inevitable, I feel like I've kind of done all I can do, so just let it go.
Tell me about how many times you've been to BHoF before this. I know you've gone a few times. How many years have you been there?
So this will be my fourth year there. The last 2 years I competed with Pistol, and then the year prior, I think, was 2016. I was planning on going that year. That was going to be my first year just going to watch. But then a troupe I was in got accepted into the large group category. So I've competed every year that I've been there. And I'd love to see the Saturday show and just take it in and not have nerves, but that hasn't happened yet. And I'm grateful. I'm super grateful for that, but it's a different experience when you're terrified and nervous all day.
Right. What's it? Okay, so you've been on that stage 3 times now. Once with your troupe, the troupe that you were in, and then twice with your aerial partner, Pistol. How does it feel to be coming back this time by yourself as a soloist?
It feels great. It feels great, and it feels terrifying. Like, Pistol's like my sister. We're family, so it was always nice to have that person with you to be scared with or nervous with, but you had a built-in person to rely on. And doing it alone is terrifying, but also exciting. So it's crazy. It's different. I'm excited.
Different,
but I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss Pistol. It's weird. I just feel like my identity is so wrapped up in us as a duo, and this last year I've been trying to push myself more into finding myself as a soloist as well. So I'm very proud and happy and elated and excited, but I'm also going to miss Pistol.
Will Pistol be attending this year?
Yes, she will be. She's coming to support me and hold my hand and just be wonderful.
You know, Minnesota, your area has been on that stage a good number of times. Do you feel familiar-ish with that stage? Like, is it possible to feel familiar? What are your thoughts around that?
Definitely, you have this list of unknowns that are terrifying. You can't control, and you don't know what's going to happen. But do feel like that is an unknown that I could cross off the list. I know what the stage looks like. I know what to expect when rigging aerial there. I know what the backstage looks like. So what I'm trying to do to prep my nerves, which probably doesn't work at all, is I keep picturing myself there. So when I'm performing on my home stage, I'm picturing that I'm there on that stage because I'm trying to build up my nerves so I can tackle them at the same time. So I do think that has been a benefit. I don't know if it'll help me at all during my actual performance, but it has calmed my nerves to know where I'm going to be and be able to see the stage in my mind.
So I know this is not at all on the same scale, but I also really believe in visualization. I do that when Muggle Me is going into a big meeting and I'm like, okay, cool, I know what this room looks like. I at the very least know where I'm going to stand and where other people are going to be sitting. I did it with my burlesque debut at Delinquent Debutantes in Nashville. It's like, okay, I've been in that studio before. Is this something that you do often? Do you often visualize yourself like in an effort to calm your nerves, or is this unique to your BHoF experience?
I do it a lot. My first time ever being, for my burlesque debut, whatever that was, solo, I had a stage I was picturing in my mind. And it's not the stage I was on, but it's what I'm picturing myself somewhere, right? When you're rehearsing and practicing, for real. So I'm like, oh, there's my audience, and this is where so-and-so's going to sit, because they always sit there. And it's very helpful.
As you've been on this journey, kind of exploring who you are as a soloist, I know we talked about that when we were in Madison, you did a couple like really, really beautiful and rock and roll kind of acts when we were out in Madison. As you've been on this journey exploring who you are as a soloist, like who you are away from Kitson and Pistol, which I think is, a great duo that a lot of people know. At what point on this solo journey were you like, yeah, this is my submission act, like this is the act that I want to bring to BHoF? Or was it not at all like that? Did you just kind of like throw one in by yourself as you were applying?
When I first started working on this act, so I think it's 2.5 years maybe now, I was just feeling it. I was all about it. I'm like, I'm going to get into BHoF with this act. I was so overly excited and confident about it, and I didn't think I was going to get into BHoF with this act the year I created it. I love this act. It's like we're one being, and I just thought this was going to be it. But I was just watching, like, the very first time I performed this, I was watching the video, and I was astonished at how much it's changed, how much I've changed. The costume has changed so much. I feel like I've grown as a performer so much that I can't believe that back when I first did this act, I thought it was going to go anywhere. Because looking at it now, I'm like, well, that was a piece of crap. But it wasn't. It just was early. It hadn't blossomed into what I'm feeling with it now. And now it's feeling really good. And I know that in 2 years, I'll probably look back and be like, I can't believe I thought that I could do this act on that BHoF stage. But everything is an evolution, right? And it grows, and you become more bonded with the art that you're creating.
Right. That makes sense.
I don't know if any of that made sense.
I think maybe people won't be willing to admit it, but I think everyone has an act that they kind of feel that way about. Like, whether it is this act is going to take me to whatever the BHoF is in their mind, right? If it is BHoF, or if it's Show Me, or if it's, this one place that's really hard to get a booking in their town, right? I think everyone has that kind of act. And I think it's really exciting to hear about people's mindset transformations, and also to hear about like the actual upgrades that they've made like along the way. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Like how are you prepping, or how have you prepped for your BHoF weekender, and what has changed? You know, you can frame it up in terms of change from 2.5 years ago to now to, you know, finding out you got in to now.
Oh,
Bring me a little bit on that little evolution here.
I mean, when I first did this act, I was using a $12 dress that I found at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. And I'm still using that dress, but it looks nothing like what it did, which I'm super proud of, but it has gone through so many like different iterations of itself. And
the same $12 dress, how are you making that work?
$12 dress. You know, I cut and I slice and I tack things up, and I don't know how to sew, but I definitely can Frankenstein a costume. It's now has the underneath layer of a hand-me-down prom dress inside of it. It's got 2 different dresses in and on it. Lots of hand-me-downs. I've been stoning it since I've had it, so I've slowly been adding stones to it, and the dress itself it really had to be like structurally engineered to do what I want it to do when I'm on the lyra. So right. It's been a work in progress. I mean, I was still modifying things last week. I have weights sewn into the bottom so that it comes off in a specific manner, and with the stoning and everything that I've been doing, it's been changing the weight of the dress. So then I'm going back in and removing weights or adding weights. It's been a deal. It's been a deal.
What has your rehearsal process been like with this act since finding out that you got in?
I'm practicing every free moment that I have, and I'm taking videos of myself and I'm watching them over and over and over. And finding transitions that I can smooth out, areas I need to work on, where am I moving too much when I shouldn't be, and where do I need to add something, or where can I find a moment to connect with the audience? Because when you're spinning on the lyra, it's easy to get sucked up into your own world like nobody else is there, but there are moments you can find to connect, but you also have to know when they're coming. So you can look for the audience, right, because you're spinning. So I've just been meticulously watching this thing and rehearsing it into the ground. And Electrocute, who produces Blackheart's Burlesque, which is my home troupe show, when I found out that I got in, she was lovely enough to give me extra stage time, because we don't have a lot of venues in town where aerial is an option. So to have extra stage time to get out there and calm my nerves and do this act over and over and over in front of an audience and change things every time has been really helpful.
Are you a competitive person? Like, did you grow up being competitive? Like, what's your mindset around competition going in?
I'm not a competitive person. And the fact that this is a competition is messing with me slightly. I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I keep telling myself it's okay. You don't expect to win. Like, honestly, just being accepted into the category I'm like, I could die today. I'm so happy. This is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. But now I feel like I have to go on stage, and then when you don't win, I feel like, I don't know, this is going to come out weird. I feel like everybody's going to look at you and go, oh, it's okay. You know, you did great, but I'm sorry you didn't win. And it's like, I don't want anyone's pity because I don't expect to win. I don't care about winning. I care about being on that stage in the company of all these wonderful performers. But I feel like that's what I'm battling with right now, is almost like other people's perception of you not winning, and then like this pity that I don't even know if that's a real thing. I I wish it weren't a competition.
Oh, it's absolutely a real thing. You are also not the only person to say that, like, to me, or, you know, not necessarily on the podcast, but like in conversation and everything. It's just like, yeah, it's a competition, but it's not, because these are all my friends, or these are all artists that I really, really respect, and an audience full of people that I respect.
Right, like you've already won by being there.
Oh, yeah, like being there, right? Okay, how many people are in this category? How many people have applied? Like, what, you know, you have like a, 6% chance, like, of getting in. Like, that in itself is a major accomplishment, and you should absolutely feel proud. And I think I can see people saying that, though, or that way, like, oh, like, you did such a good job, with like that tone. I think we both are thinking of the same. Oh, good, you know, oh, you were so beautiful up there, like, but that tone in the background, that your head, they might not actually have it, but in your head it's there, right? I think that that person is just so proud and so happy for you, and maybe because they're not the ones up there, maybe they have experienced that, like, they don't, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's like, it makes sense as a reaction, it makes sense as a concern.
Yes.
But all these people that are there are coming from a place of love, and regardless of the result, right? Regardless of what happens, like, they know that you being up there, and you know, right? That's the important part. You know, being up there is already winning.
Right.
And I think that's really beautiful.
Right. It's like, I just don't want to fall. I don't want to throw up. I don't want to slip. I just want to do a good job. Other than that, I think everybody's great, and let's just all, support each other and try to have fun. Okay,
since like this is your 4th time at the Burlesque Hall of Fame, each time you've performed, have you been able to enjoy, you know, the Thursday, Friday leading up to your Saturday day? Like, what have those days been like for you in the past?
I am a ball of nerves. So when the Thursday show starts, you know, there's the opening number and you're all excited, and then you see people on the stage and you think, at least this is what I do, I'm like, oh God, I bet they're so nervous. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's going to be me in 2 days. I'm terrified. And then I have this moment of panic where I like pull myself out of the theater. I mean, I don't physically, but in my mind, I'm not focusing on what's happening. I'm just now a ball of nerves. And then I'd say after like the first act, I come back and then I'm just like in it and I'm enjoying it, and I've forgotten about that wave of anxiety. So I get a little bit sketchy the opening of Thursday, but it's such a good show. That stuff goes away so fast and you're pulled right back into this beautiful art. And then Friday's just a wonderful, you know, soul-filling evening full of tears and crying and world famous Bob. But Saturday for me has been pretty terrible. I just physically don't feel great, and I'll take a lot of baths, and I don't know. I'm going to try and do Saturday a little different this year. I think I'm just going to like hang at a pool, maybe take 2 baths instead of 5, and just try to stay in a good headspace.
Okay, I'm jumping in with an edit here. Kitson and I chatted about our deep, deep love of the Show Me Burlesque Festival, and she also gave me some handy advice about BHoF and burlesque in general. I told her my tale of meeting world-famous Bob and eventually being asked to join the House of Famous in a serendipitous twist after kind of being broken up with by someone who I considered a mentor. I still consider them a mentor. So I'm jumping back in here at the end of my breakup story, and Kitson is talking about her relationship with her performing partner, Pistol Prudence. Just knowing that if I needed like this courage moment, or like needed something that like I could make that text, like I think it's made me look at burlesque so much differently, and it's helped me deal with my nerves and tackle like whatever I'm going through like so much with so much more confidence, like whether or not, you know, I don't talk to her like every week or anything.
Right.
And there are some drag children who do, but like just knowing that I could and knowing that I'm a part of something, I think that was like the part that really hurt about being broken up with. Like I already really struggle with feeling like I belong to the Chicago community because like I'm burlesque from Nashville. And I started by traveling as a traveling performer doing festivals. And so people will ask like, oh, where in Chicago do you perform? And I'm like, well, I haven't performed in Chicago yet, but here's like 5 states that I've been performed in already. So like, I think like that was the part that was really crazy, like really feeling like I didn't belong to this community, you know, being broken up with by that person. And then like having this like overarching, like mega god of our art form, like reach out to me. Like it was a lot. I'm very, very grateful. And I really hope I never make an ass of myself, mostly because I would never want to disappoint world famous Bob. But like, who does? You know, like no one wants to disappoint her.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people feel that way, right? Like, if it's one of the reasons I'm like so attached and happy to be with Pistol, because no matter if someone's breaking up with us, they're breaking up with the two of us. Like I trust her so much. I still have those pains, like those I've been rejected by this producer or this, you know, there's always weird stuff in the community, right? But I always know I have Pistol. So like she's my family. She's no world famous Bob, but it's nice to have,
you know, in your heart, right?
Yeah.
She is though, right? Like whatever the world famous Bob equivalent is, right? Like just like the whatever the BHoF or Show Me equivalent is. Yeah.
Prudence in my heart. You world
yeah.
Bob. Wow.
You'll have to tell her that.
You are you're gonna like I don't know if it's none of my business if you applied or not, or if you applied.
I did not.
Okay, I feel like you would have been up there. You are so good.
Okay, so this is because I'm me, because I am, you know, because it took me like 4 years to debut and like blah, 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 like so many people, like people who've competed for Queen, people who have won for Queen, like people who've been out there, like so many people were telling me to like just apply. And then I had this one friend who I love dearly who, you know, knows that I get really wrapped up in things like that, and knows that I'm like really anxious and all of that. She was like, well, what if you like took this as a year to do your homework? Like I am that person who's really competitive, like competitive with myself, really. I also like, I know that if I did that at the stage that I'm at in my burlesque career, like I would have had the most horrific, you know, time between hitting submit and like finding out, you know, let's say I got in, right? Yeah. I would have been a wreck for the past like 7 months. And so I was like, all right, like I'm not in the place emotionally to be in like a potential competition setting, but like it is okay. Like I'm going to sound like an ass saying this, but also you said it in your part, so it's fine. Like I know, like in my mind's eye, right? Like in my heart of hearts, like I know I'm going to be on that stage one day. And the thing that, you know, I also really don't like disappointing people. So people have asked, like, did you apply? Like, what happened? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I see you didn't get in. And I'm like, well, actually, I didn't apply. You know, it's like, I know that I'm going to be up there. So why don't we not make it my first year attending? Let's see what this is like. Yeah. So I think I think I will submit next. I'm someone who looks at a thing and is like, all right, if I'm going to do this, like, I'm going to be up there doing it. Like, that's how I've, like, tackled everything. It's like, it's hard, right? Like, that's not a safe, I know that is not a safe way to look at something as personal as burlesque and as, you know, it's an art form, and it's really hard for me to, like, not look at it like a job or not look at it like school. And so I think I need to like sort that out. I talked to my therapist about burlesque for like 45 minutes a day, or, you know, 45 minutes a session, like just trying to like get my head straight around everything. Cause otherwise like I will destroy it. Right.
Well,
like, I will destroy it.
It's a total mind fuck. It's like, I'm kind of the same way. I'm super analytical. So like what I was saying about my act, I've just been dissecting these videos. I'm taking
Oh, yeah.
some videos, and I'm like, you have a weird micro bend in that leg, and it's like I feel like I need to have something that I can control to calm my nerves, so that I'm like, I'm just, gonna drill this drop into the ground. I'm just gonna drill it, and I'm gonna get my hair dyed because I can control that, and I'm
Right.
my teeth. I'm gonna do these things that I can control, but like, you can't rehearse. There's that whole side you can't rehearse, like that genuine connection part, which is
Right.
the magic of burlesque. And I feel like it's so hard to get there, to like let go of all the stuff that you want to control so that you can just be this vulnerable you out on stage. It's such a fucking mind fuck for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that must be like harder when you're all the way up there in the sky, right? Like you were saying, like being in your own, that you can get lost in your own world up there sometimes. But I do think that, I don't, this could be totally throwaway for you, but as someone who's seen you a couple times, like I think you have a wonderful connection with the audience. And like even when you're like up there, like with Pistol, like it felt like, oh shit, like I'm spinning along too, like wow. And I think that's a really nice like magic that you bring to the stage, and I'm really, really excited to see you up there.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's all true. Kitson, thank you so much for joining me today on the Pastie Tapes. I am so excited to cheer you on at the Burlesque Hall of Fame as you compete in the Best Debut category. Where can people find you on the internet?
On Instagram at Kitson Sass. Pistol and I have a website, kitsonandpistol.com, for all our duo action. And then you can just find me around in real life, floating in Minnesota. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I will see you soon. Bye.
Okay, let's take some calls from the Pastie Tapes hotline. This first caller has an incredible BHoF story. The call did cut out, but it's such a beautiful call that it made me cry on the train home when I was checking voicemails. This message is from the incredible, absolutely lovely, finest MC in the world, everyone's darling, Blanche Debris.
Hi, it's Blanche Debris calling you from Las Vegas, Nevada, and actually just a few blocks away from the Orleans right now because I just got my nails done. But anyway, my first BHoF was officially in 2010, and I remember I picked up Tigger from the airport to drive him to the Golden Nugget where he was staying, and that year, because I've known Tigger for about more years than you're probably alive. Anyway, and so I was going to the first BF. I just started Burlesque in 2008, and I went only to the Sunday night show. That's the only thing I could afford. And I went with my friend Ginger, and I remember Laura Herbert was sitting at the table. It was at the Plaza, and I remember I couldn't get over the sound of the crowd. Like everyone was there was just this wonderful buzz from all these sparkly people, and I remember feeling really like I didn't belong. Like I felt like I just wasn't up to the standard of all these people, even though I had been doing burlesque a couple of years. And I remember seeing Sparkly Devil doing a hip hop routine to burlesque, and I didn't know at the time that you could do burlesque to hip hop. And I was blown away by her. And I remember sitting there at the table and not even knowing to introduce myself, or I didn't know how to talk to anyone. And I felt really, I felt like I wanted to be a part of everything, but I had no idea how to. And then cut to 2011 when I attended my second BHoF, went to every single night, and I remember looking on the stage at Astrid von Vollmer emceeing, and I said, in 5 years, I want to be as good as that as an MC, and I want to be able to MC BHoF. In 5 years, that was my goal. In 2011, I said 5 years. And the next year, in 2012, I hosted the Movers, Shakers, and Innovators Showcase. Only because I don't know how I got in, but I know that people saw me in Seattle and in Vegas, and recommended me behind my back. And that's what I loved about Burlesque is that there's no this showbiz crap where you have to schmooze and, fail and try to prove yourself every time. If someone believes in you, they would give you a shot. And that's what I love about BHoF. And everything they say about having enough water and you won't be sleeping and you'll be eating at Fuddruckers at 4 a.m. is true. I am not going to advise anyone this year to treat it as a marathon. I'm going to tell everyone to go full gonads to the wall and breathe and live and fill every moment and don't worry about sleeping and don't worry about...
Okay, so it did cut out, but I could hear Blanche talk all day long. Thank you so much, Blanche, for sharing your experience. Having you introduce me at the Savannah Burlesque Festival was one of my major burlesque goals realized. I cannot wait to see you this weekend. This next caller is an alternate for the Movers, Shakers, and Innovators. I also met this performer at the Savannah Burlesque Festival. Such incredible energy, and oh my god, the act they performed there just blew me away. This is the Alabaster Hourglass, Bunny Wigglebottom, in a 2-part call.
Hi, Somai. Hi, Pastie Tapes. It's Bunny Wigglebottom from Atlanta, Georgia. I am calling from the bathroom of our room at the beautiful Orleans Hotel for BHoF 2019. It's our 8th BHoF. The only advice, I'm sure everybody's covered it. People who know are much wiser than I am, but I would say you got to hydrate to gyrate, obviously. I like Epsom salt. I always buy a couple of bags of Epsom salt and take a nice warm bath. Helps my feet. So I wanted to just share, because this is my first year having an experience being chosen as an alternate, and I don't know that I've ever known of anyone else. I don't think we really talk about it. We celebrate the performers, of course, who are selected to perform, but as an alternate, I'm kind of like full of mixed emotions because obviously I would be absolutely ecstatic to actually be called up to perform, but Paul and I, my sweetheart, are such huge fans. It's sort of bittersweet because I can't wait to watch everyone else perform and cheer. So who knows? It's going to be great either way. I look forward to seeing people that I only get to see in Las Vegas once a year, sometimes even less than that. But please look for us, myself, Mr. Paul Lewis, in our favorite section, Double D, shout out. I think it's Row D. And have a great BHoF. Thank you so much for giving us this gift, Shomai. You never cease to amaze me. Bye. Hey, Shomai, it's Bunny Wigglebottom again from Atlanta, Georgia. The Alabaster Hourglass, the juiciest beach in Georgia, the Leslie Holder Burlesque, and the motivational stripper. Damn it, Shomai, I forgot to mention. I mentioned I was an alternate this year at BHoF 2019, which is a first for me. But I forgot to mention I'm an alternate for the Movers, Shakers, and Innovators showcase. Everything else is still true. Oh, I would say this is my first year. I took world famous Bob's advice and I got a portable travel humidifier. And I think it's helping because the air, in Atlanta we actually have to use several dehumidifiers, so the worlds of difference in Las Vegas. But I would recommend that too. A little travel humidifier. Thanks. I'll see you at BHoF, Jeremiah.
Bunny, I am sending you so much love. You are right that we don't talk about being an alternate or waitlisted for big events like BHoF or other festivals, so thank you so much for sharing that with us. I will see you and Paul so soon.
If you want to dial in and answer our current prompt, leave some feedback, or give a shout out to your burlesque crush, give us a call on the Pastie Tapes hotline. Our number is 1-530-PASTIES. That is 1-530-PASTIES. In number form, 1-530-727-8437. You can also send me a voice memo on your phone and email it to thepastietapes@gmail.com. Is this hitting your ears before or at BHoF? Leave me a message with your BHoF reactions.
Thank you so much for listening to The Pastie Tapes. You can follow us all across social media at The Pastie Tapes. You can always leave us a love note at thepastietapes@gmail.com. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. This is Show My More, the steamiest Asian dumpling with The Pastie Tapes.